Okay, good afternoon, folks. My apologies, running a little bit late. I was just in a trade. Unfortunately, I was only in it on one of my accounts and I never copied it to the other account. I didn't realise Flowbots wasn't open for some reason, so I just had to sort that out. So I hope everyone had a good weekend and ready to hopefully have a better week than last week. So, Jay, how you doing? Short week? Yeah, short week, absolutely. Monday to Thursday. H, good morning. Indy, how you doing? Did that screw up the time change? No, I'm here with you, mate. No, I looked at that trade. We had that big downtrend and a break and a new low, and we went up there and there was 1, 2, 3 triple test. I ummed and ahed, and when that one formed, I jumped in there and a leg up. I expected it to have a good push up, so I got in for 3 points there. So nice start, actually. Ionis, how you doing? Speedy, how you doing, pal? So, okay, here we go. Right, in case anybody noticed, I am minus 1p account. I had a payment which went through, and I took a trade, lost that one, and I think there was about 220 left, so I took a punt, really. But I'm not fussed, it's okay. It paid for itself. That was the point of that one. So I currently have two. One is a little over $1,000 off a payment, and another one is standing at a little over $600. So I am just going to stick with these until I get a payment, and then when I get a payment, I'm going to add 2 or 3, maybe something like that. But I wanted to have a discussion with you guys as well. I don't know if you remember last week we talked about the Guardian Angel Trader, and I decided to get it. Now, since I've decided to get it, my emotions have disappeared to a degree. So that I was about $275 down Friday. When I lost that trade, I carried on trading for the rest of the day, never took another trade, never felt down, never felt frustrated. It seems ever since I decided to, even though I haven't got it yet, since I decided to get it, it's just gone. It's weird. I don't I got a suspicion why, but it's weird. So I just hope it lasts. But when I was down Friday, I felt perfectly fine. When I left the stream, I thought, fine now. So I thought I'll carry on trading for a bit. So I thought I'm not touching the one account. The other account was low, the one I got the payment for. So I thought I'll give a little go there. 1, 2. It's almost like another triple test there. So it's just weird. Ever since I've decided to get that, even though I haven't got it, it's just the emotions have just disappeared. When I take a loss, it just doesn't seem to affect me. I like that. Don't look at this. There is like a triple test there. Let me just think about this. Is there a leg and a leg?
Order submitted.
It's weird. It's just the emotions have just sort of gone. I don't quite understand why. Rodian, how you doing, bud? Now, the only thing I can think of is just some sort of psychological twist or something. But I remember some friends of ours years ago, they were just going through a bad patch in the marriage, and they decided to get counselling. And they decided that's what they were going to do, and all of a sudden they stopped arguing. It's like when you decide to do something, something changes in your head. So it's quite weird. So I'm just hoping it lasts.
Order cancelled.
But when I was down on Friday, I felt completely different than I normally do. I wasn't in a rush to get a trade. I think I sat there for an extra hour and a half and never took a trade. Now, normally I wouldn't have done that. I'd have been desperate to take a trade, but it hasn't bothered me for some reason. It's weird. But I kind of feel quite excited. So it's odd. So whether there is something there that, something in me head's changed and it's just gone, well, okay, so there is an answer. You can go and do that if you want, and that will sort your problems out. But ever since I've done that, it's not become a problem for some reason. So I just hope to God it lasts. But a lot of that fear and worried, when you lose a trade, is just sort of disappeared. Okay, so we got a leg down. That looks like a couple of legs up. Are we making another leg down? Possibly. It's starting to look quite bearish on the NQ. So let me just check. There's nothing there because there may be. Perhaps there is. So that's had a quick push down. So there's probably there may be some stops around here. And that's just had a quick push, maybe taking some of those out. Anything from there and there. So maybe there is a bit of a channel. There looks like a channel on the NQ. So let's have a look. Yeah, maybe. Have to keep an eye on that. So yeah, trading up to Thursday this week. We've got the bank holiday, Easter weekend coming up, Friday and Monday. So I'm away anyway. I go away Friday for a long weekend, and I'll be back on Monday, ready to trade Tuesday. So I'm so looking forward to a break, actually. I realised how good it did me over Christmas getting away. So just keep it in mind, guys, this 80% off and 1 day to pass finishes on Wednesday. So I'm guessing we'll probably go back onto 71%. Hopefully for not too much longer, but certainly for, I don't know, I would guess a week. I don't know. You just never know. Sometimes they swap and change it. But we seem to be flitting between the 71 and 80%, and then occasionally they'll throw in a 90%. Okay, there is a second entry short there, but that bar's a bit naff. We seem like we're coming down here, but we're quite far from the EMA, so I'm probably staying out of anything here just at the moment. There is a second entry short, but that bar's finished a little bit more on the neutral side for me. We are quite far away from the EMA on the NQ, so I'm going to stay out of that because that might come back up. Let me just check my copy is working properly.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
So, if anybody put in for a payment this month, I've had mine already. It should. I had an email on Friday saying the money has gone into my plane account, which is quick actually. I wasn't expecting it, and it said it should arrive on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So, well, it should arrive in my bank account. Let me just check it's not there. So they've paid early. My suspicions were right. I thought they might pay early because of the Easter weekend. They'll want it all done so they can enjoy the weekend as well. So I'm guessing most of you guys will have had an email if you got payments due. Let's have a look at this. There is a bit of support along there just to keep my eye on. How did you go about paying tax in the UK? I haven't paid any tax. I've had a quiet word with Rishi Sunak, and he said because I've had a tough time trading, he's willing to waive any tax for the next 5 years. I wish. No, I haven't earned as much as I've... Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? I haven't earned as much as I've paid out as of yet. But I expect that to change in the next, I'd say, 3 months. But all the money I've put into trading, including, equipment, stuff like that, I haven't earned as much as I've paid yet. So as soon as I break even, that's when I'll register myself as a business, whether it be a limited company. I'll look into it. We've got a friend of a friend who is an accountant, so I'll find out the best way to go forward, whether it be a limited company or not. I mean, there are tax benefits being limited. There's no massive benefits for me being VAT registered because, well, the money I pay to Apex, there's no VAT in there. I mean, apart from the computer equipment, which is once in a blue moon. Mine just said it's been sent, but it will take 5. No, it doesn't. Okay. See, I got an email on Friday from Plain. They always send you a lovely email. I'll read it. Where is it? Good things coming your way and all that sort of stuff. Where's my email? So we look. Where are you? Oh. Okay. Here we go. It says, good things are coming your way, Lance. Apex Trader Fund Incorporated paid you $2,000 for all your hard work. We'll start the process. Payment should be in your accounts on Tuesday. So it's in my Plain account. So it usually takes them 48 hours to sort it out. So pretty good, actually. I don't know even why they take 48 hours. The company they were with before did it immediately, if I remember rightly. So I stayed out of that second entry short, and I'm glad I did, because that would have took me out. I don't like that bar. We got a leg down. It is a second entry short. There's the first entry, and there's the second entry, but there's just nothing there point-wise. Well, I mean, one tick below there. If you'd have got in, say there, you wouldn't even got a point. You'd have had to push through. So that was just... So now on that channel, on the NQ, we've had a break. So just have to keep an eye on this. I switched to Ninja Trader of the week. Okay, my chart looks just like yours and Max. Brilliant. I like Ninja Trader. Well, I've not got nothing to compare it to really. I've used MetaTrader 4 and TradingView really. I mean, yeah, TradingView for more just plotting and charting and stuff. But the only ones I've executed any trades on are Ninja Trader and MetaTrader 4. But I do like it. It is a nice platform. I love the way it's easy. Everything you can change things. It's nice and easy. I'm in no rush. It's just nice to have the money flow. Absolutely, mate. Because you do feel sometimes like it's just constantly you're putting in. So it is nice to get some back. Hopefully, in the next 3 weeks, hopefully I should have another one. I'm about 1,200 off another one. And then when I get paid for that, I'm going to add some more accounts. Then I'm just not putting any more money in at the moment until I get some more. I couldn't look at a white screen day. I'd go for Aspire. I couldn't look at a white screen day all day. It's all right. There's a little icon over that last word on the let me show you. You see that? Yeah, and there's that little icon there. Well, it's a love art. Seems to be floating over your name. No, over that last comment. It just until it moves up, I'll be able to see it now. Yeah, I got you. I have tried changing over to the black because that'll probably take some of that strain off, I think. But I don't know. I just couldn't get on. I'm not used to white. I couldn't get on with it. It seems just a bit clear on the white, but I've tried multiple times. I mean, I have it in my templates. This is the newest, so I have that dark one. But I just couldn't get on with it for some reason. I don't know. It'll probably take a while to come in now, won't it? Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't seem as clear that whether these are a bit too fuzzy or not. But it just, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't as clear for me. I don't know why that's all of a sudden shifted onto a sim. Let's make sure everything's working again.
Order submitted.
Yeah. I didn't, Speedy.
Order cancelled.
Well, as yet, and I'll tell you why. When I decided to get it, all of a sudden the emotions just seemed to disappear. So when I lost that trade on Friday, I was fine. I didn't have that same emotions, and I carried on trading without taking another trade. So for some reason, since I've decided to get it, the emotions have just gone. Well, the emotions that used to stress me out and push me to take another trade after I took a loss, for some reason, I don't know why. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I'm going to see how I continue. But for some reason, when I lost that trade Friday, I was okay about it. Well, I'd never been before, and I carried on trading and never took another trade. So I thought, well, let's just put it on the back burner and just see if it goes. But, you know, I mentioned earlier, we had some friends. I've heard this before. We had some friends who went through a tough patch in a marriage, and all they were doing is constantly arguing. And they decided to go to take counselling for some help, and as soon as they'd done that, they stopped arguing. It's weird. It's almost like when you realise there is a possible way out, something just seems to disappear. So I don't know whether it's anything to do with this. I wish I could be like, well, I that's what happened Friday anyway. So it's one day. So, I mean, if I'm still feeling like at the end of the week, then I'd say maybe something's just changed. But I have spoken to traders in the past that said something will just change. You just keep going, and something will just change. So whether it's that or not, I don't know. But, you know, sometimes when you decide to do something and there's almost relief because you've found an answer and you get time to calm down. So when I lost that trade, I was fine, and I've never felt like that before. I've always had that urge to desperately get some back, and I didn't at all. And I carried on trading for the rest of the day and never touched that account. It's weird. So I hope it lasts. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Whether this is a channel or I'm completely reading it wrong, but the reason I put this is because it looks like a channel in the NQ. So we've had a break at the NQ. So this will either come down possibly to make a new low, in which case this is a break and we may make a new low, or I'm completely reading it wrong. So I'm a bit on the fence as to know exactly what's going on. But just talking to John and Dean the other day about it, it's just nice to know there is something out there which could help you if you need it. And I think sometimes when you realise you've got something, that the little bit of stress drops, I think. That's the only conclusion I can come to. So, in fact, you know what? Maybe there is a channel down here and we've already had a break. In fact, that's probably more right, actually. So I'm just going to remove this just for the minute. We've got a channel break, new low. We've had a push up break of this channel, and now we've pushed up, made a new high by tick. So So that to me now. So yeah, touch. Well, you're supposed to have 2 touches, but it does look like something. So maybe we've had a break and a new low. So now we're moving upwards. It's hard to say, but we are coming across some resistance here. So excuse me a sec. There is a lower high, but at the moment I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. We've had this channel and a break. We have made a new high by a tick, but I'm not taking this just yet because I'm not exactly sure what I think the market's doing at the moment. So for me to take that would be just a little bit more of a punt, I think. So I'm just sitting tight. Not only that, we've got a channel there. We could have a second entry long and a break. So we may trap some shorts there, or it may trigger some longs and trap them. So at the moment, all I can tell you is there is a little bit of support along there, so maybe that'll work. But at the moment, I'm just sitting tight because I'm not sure what's what. See, there's a lower high which is triggered. There's also the possibility of a second entry long, but do I want to go long into this? That is the question. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 touches there. We've pushed up that a bunch of times and struggled to get up, so I don't really want to get involved in either of these. I don't know what you guys think about that. Are you thinking long or short? I mean, we've had this channel, new low, we've come back and retested it 1, 2, 3, so maybe it is going to push up. It is a second entry long, but do I want to go long into that? Is the question. Bar's finished a little bit on the neutral side anyway, so there's a no-brainer for me now. Short with a lower high, that one there. My only slight issue is we've had this big push down, we had a break and a new low. We've come back after pushing up and retested this 1, 2, 3. We've got a triple test there, triple touch there. So for me, I would suggest it's more likely to go up personally. Not only that, we've had a channel with a break, so I expect a new high. We have by 1 tick, so I think I would think it would be more likely to go up. But it's just a thought. It's an educated guess. It's not enough for me to, how come not take the second entry short back into the range? Second entry short. Are you on about that one there, are you? Well, you say it's a range. We've had some resistance. We've only come up here again, so I'm on the fence as to what I think it is at the moment. We've only really pushed up and come back 3 times. So that to me looks more like a bottoming pattern after we've had a push up. So for me, it's more likely to go up. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. So if you did take that one, you might just need some new underwear. I hope you get away with it if you're in short there. But I just don't know at the moment. What I'm seeing is this, there's like 2 legs down here. So we got a leg, a break and a new low. We pushed up, we came straight back and tested it once, twice, 3 times. So if you look 1, 2, 3, there's 3 touches there. So for me, that looks like it's bottoming and it's more likely to go up. There is a higher low there, but I don't want to take that in case it is a range and we make a failed breakout, but I'll be amazed if that stop holds. News, yeah, it's only medium impact news, mate. It doesn't really do anything. But yeah, if you got short there, I don't know. I hope it doesn't. The more you find this resistance, the more chance it's got of staying in. But I don't know. But yeah, I mean, straight away it's congested now anyway. So that was my reasoning for not taking that, because it does look like we've tested it once, twice, three times. So for me, it's more likely to go up. Let me have a look. And if you look on the NQ, it's complete congestion anyway. So that just tells me this area is a no trade zone just at the moment, because it could do anything. It could shoot up or it could come down. As I say, my thoughts is I think it's more likely to go up, but it is an educated guess. That's also. I mean, it may come down and have another test before it pushes up. I mean, we could come down once and twice, but the fact that we've pushed down once and we've made a triple test for me is enough of a bottoming pattern to think it's more likely to go up. Are we going to trap some more shorts and push up? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. So we closed below there, and you know that may attract some more shorts. But I just don't like this. It's congested and a bit dangerous. And looking on the NQ in this bit of congestion here, this really could go either way. This looks even more precarious than this, but if this breaks and goes up, this will follow it. So you best stay out of this, really. I mean, if you took that, you're still in this trade at the moment. The trouble is there's three shorts there, that one, that one, that one, that are all stuck in this. So if it does push, it might have a little bit of a quick shove up. Yeah, see, when you take a trade like this, that's not what you want to see, really, sideways. None of these are really strong positions. They've touched the top, but if I'm going to pick tops like this, I always like it to break out and then pull back in, and none of these have really, so I think this may be a bit of a toss of a coin. Yeah, these medium impact newses never seem to do anything. I have them on my charts, but they never really seem to do anything. What was that risk anyway? 2.75, so it's not a huge risk. If that finish is really bullish, that is the bar I think that is likely to take us out if it finishes on its high. It's a second entry long, mind you. I don't even think I'd take a long gear at the moment. It's purely congested. It really could go either way. My thoughts are obviously up, but I certainly wouldn't bet on that outcome. Yeah, I use a Revolut account, bud. So it'll go straight into plain, and then when you go into plain and just do your settings in plain to whatever bank you want it into. I have mine going into my Revolut account, because the company that they with before, I can't remember. You had to put international payment. And the trouble is, if they sent it straight to my Barclays account, Barclays would charge me 3%. So on $2,000, well, it's what's 3% of $2,000? Well, 10% is 200, and 1% is 20. So it cost me £60. That's what I'd lose for Barclays to convert it over. I ain't paying £60. So I signed up for the Revolut Steel account, which cost me £9.90, £10 a month basically, and I could have unlimited currency exchange at current market price free of charge. So that would save me £50 per $2,000. So that's I worked out, yeah. So that to me is a nice bullish bar. We've come down a few times. You may even say that's a triple test. So I think that's the bar that's going to take us above these. So I like Revolut. You can buy stocks on there. Well, I wouldn't suggest cryptocurrencies. It's a bit pricey, but you can buy stocks and all sorts of stuff in there. I mean, a lot of these online banks are so much better than... I mean, the banking system, in my opinion, is the biggest con known to man. I've been putting my money in Barclays Bank for donkey's years, and what do I get for it? Nothing. They don't even give me, the current rate. I get about 1.5% interest on it, which is below inflation. So they take all your money, they sit on billions and billions of your money, they invest it, make a ton of money, give themselves nice big fat bonuses, and you get jack shit for it. So I think a lot of these me and my wife use Monzo. Same again, so many benefits. What we do is something called top up. So whenever we spend anything, it rounds it up to the nearest pound and puts it in a little separate pot for you. So you can, there's loads of little gizmos and gadgets like that. So the online banks are much better value. They're quick to sign up. There's all sorts of deals with them. But yeah, so my suspicions were that those weren't going to last, and they weren't. The second entry long turned into more of a neutral bar anyway. That wouldn't have lasted. But there was a couple of traps in there. But after this retest 1, 2, 3 times, it was, for me, it was more likely to break upwards. So if you did take any trades short like that, it triggered you and then eventually stopped you out. So if you're not sure or anything like that, just stay out. I stayed out of that not because I knew what was going to happen, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. You notice these patterns, don't you? Get a big push down like a break. We came up, came down and retested it 1, 2, 3. So eventually it was going to break through that lot and push up. So if I'm not sure, I'll just stay out of it. So let me have a look. So there's probably something larger working up now. It does strike me as it's just turning into, or starting off really, as a bit of a range day, I think. What's it been doing? Okay, so Friday was just sideways. Thursday was sideways. And that was FOMC day. We had that sideways. We had the big pump. We had a couple of legs back, and I think that's when Powell came in and the thing just carried on, continued on up. So we have spent a bit of up. So I'm just trying to think where all-time highs are. I usually have something up here. I've got a feeling we're at all-time highs. Oh yeah, we are. There we go. That's it there. Let's unlock that. Shut that up. Apply. So we're already at all-time highs. Why can't I move that? It's locked. I can't select it. I can only double click it. Okay, all-time highs are up here. Excuse me a sec. Okay. So, now look. Okay, so that is more than played out. So, yeah, so we got a leg down, a little break in a new low. We pushed a bit of sideways, found a little bit of support here, came back down, retested this bottom. In fact, I had that there, didn't I? Let's put that there. And just put a line, just so was my thinking, thought process. Yeah, so we touched once, twice, three times. That to me is a bottoming pattern, especially after this. I mean, we had this leg. It wasn't a definitive new low, was it? Because we came down here, pushed down, and closed outside. So, I mean, you could readjust that and sort of have that to fit. So perhaps it just wanted to come down and I don't know. I mean, technically, but it didn't rush up all that quick, didn't it? But it needed this, and I think that's what sent it on its way. So, nice looking bull flag on here. At some point, I'm going to start taking these because I see this pattern all the time. Pushes up, goes sideways. When you get a really solid looking bullish bar, that's where it seems to work. And for me, that was the one. It did trigger come down a bit, but then you had that higher low. So these seem to work so many times, but they're not part of my strategy. But you know, at some point, as you develop as a trader, you've got to start noticing these patterns and start moving on. Excuse me a sec. Yeah, you've got to start sort of developing and moving and seeing these things. But I see them all the time. My only slight concern was this, but after that push up on that side was, I think it was worth the go. Okay, excuse me just for a minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll only be a second. What's going on here? Yeah, it does look like pretty much a range at the moment. I think that is turning into a channel. I wasn't so sure, but it looks like it's possibly going to get another leg. Volume's still a bit low today. It is moving. It's relatively clear. But we opened about, where did we open? Around about here, and we've only had that in an hour. Trying to get rid of that there. There we go. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Hmm. Oh, dear me, this is slow again, isn't it? Wow, what's it been like lately? It's just been slow lately. I wish things would move. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that for some reason. Okay, so just quickly looking on the NQ, there looks like two small legs there. So let me just have a quick look at this. A little micro with a break and a new low. So we've got a little leg, sideways a little leg. So it'd be interesting to see what happens here. That bar there has triggered. So if we get a lower high here, I'd say that's likely to push up to these highs. I'm just not a massive fan of this channel. Whether it's just two legs up a break and a new high, I don't know. But even if I take that to there, it works. But we miss out this, which is I'm not a fan of. It just doesn't look right to me. So whether there isn't anything, I don't know. It's hard to say. Hey Sam, how you doing, pal? You had a good weekend, mate? I didn't, and I'll tell you why. When I decided that I was going to get it, for some reason the emotions seemed to just disappear when I lost a trade. It happened on Friday. I felt perfectly fine and perfectly calm. When I realised I was going to get it, I felt like a big relief. Because I found my trading is okay. It's dealing with the losses which seem to cripple me. So when I decided to get it, I felt a bit of relief. And then I lost that trade on Friday. I think I was about 275 down. And I felt perfectly fine. And I finished the day and never traded that account again. I felt quite fine about it. So it's over the weekend I've been thinking about it, and the feelings I used to get coming up to trading day, the nerves, worried about taking a trade, worried about losing one, have seemed to gone. They've seemed to have gone. So I don't know whether it's just a fluke or whether, because I decided, the only way I can describe it is, I mentioned it earlier, we had some, I've heard this before, people, they don't get on, they're all arguing all the time. And when they decide to get some help, they sort of stop arguing. And it's there's definitely something there. I can't remember what it's called, but it's, when you all of a sudden you give yourself an option and then those feelings just start to drift away. So I don't know. It's there is enough to realise exactly. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see what happens on my next loss. But I feel like I've had a bit of weight taken off my shoulders. So I don't know. Make of it as you will. But I feel different. I'm not nervous. I'm not scared about taking a loss. I'm just following the process. If I say a trade, I'll take a trade, So get another pair, likely helped. Maybe, but it's only $2,000. That's not going to last long. So I don't know, maybe. But it seemed to be, it seemed to be Friday when I decided I was going to get it. That it just seemed to have gone. So I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. Viewers would like 2,000. I think a lot of them get it. I think most of you guys have had payments. Let me think. I know some of you had. I think most of you had. Speedy, you've had a payment before. Indy, I'm pretty sure you have. Jay, you have a payment before, haven't you? Rodian, I'm pretty sure you said you have. I don't know about anybody else. H, didn't you say you'd apply for one? So I think most of you had. I mean, it is only $2,000. It don't go nowhere, in all honesty. It works out just under, that's a good point. It works out at just under £1,600 UK money. So it's peanuts, really. So whether it is that or not, I don't think it is, but let me have a look. Start a poll. Oh shoot. I've had £2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of you had it on. Let me just do a little poll. Okay, let's have a poll. Let's find out who has. I think most of you have. Well, I mean, obviously be some that haven't, but I think a lot of you guys who've been here around for a while. 50%. Maybe not as much as I thought. Well, I don't suppose everyone trades prop firms today. I think prop firms really are an untapped gold mine, really. Well, I say untapped. There's more and more people taking them. Yeah, 57%. Yeah, so just over half, really. Yeah, the trouble is when I chat to you guys all day, I don't know any of your backgrounds. I know some of your backgrounds. I know there's traders who've been doing it a lot longer than me. I know there's some traders who've been doing it years, and there's probably some which are relatively fresh. But yeah, so it's about 50% actually, which is, mind you, if there's only 2 people entered the poll and one has one, does it tell you how many? Does it tell you how many people? 8 vote. Okay, so 4 of you have and 4 of you haven't. It's climbing. It's climbing. So yeah, a little poll there. If you've had a payment from prop firm, any prop firm, any time, if you've had a payment, just click yeah. But it does seem to be around about 50%. That's just nice to know. It is nice to get your first payment. I think I had my very first payment I think it was February or January. I think it was, I started streaming at Christmas, so I think it was probably January, I think. Have a look at this. But then you seem to get one, or I did, seem to get one and then lose a bunch. And then I got another and then lost a few more. Then I got two close together. Then I got another one. You seem to... What I found is when I got my first payment, I managed to get that account $7,500. Now, I've looked back on it umpteen times, and I did have a little bit of luck when it came to some of the... You know, I was holding and letting it run, so a couple of times it did a bit, but, you know, regardless of that, when I got my first payment, I thought, that's it, I've cracked it. I'm now a trader. And little do you know, that's when your sort of journey really starts to begin, I think. Because you think, great, yeah, I'm going to make a ton of money here, and then it doesn't happen. But I think what you do, you make something, then when you blow your account, you're frustrated for a while, and then you're fighting with the market. And then you get another one, then you feel good, and then you lose that account, and then you fight with the market again. And it's very much like starting out being a boxer. That's probably a good analogy. I've used something similar before. So let's say, for instance, you start boxing. You go down the boxing gym, and this happened to me when I was younger, and about emotions. And what happens is you start doing a bit of bag work, a bit of this, you get a little bit of exercise. And after a while, at some point, you'll get a pair of gloves thrown at you and told to get in a ring. Yeah. And then you'll jump in there and you'll feel the nerves going, and you'll get it, and you'll start swinging like crazy. And all of a sudden, it'd be like your first parachute jump, a bit of a blur. And then as you train, you get fitter, you'll get in the ring a couple of more times, and you'll do it regularly again and again and again. And at some point, the emotions will start to go, and you'll start to feel like, I'm getting somewhere. So, you know, might be a crap analogy, but I know what I mean. So 13 votes. Yeah, it's not far off. I think there's probably a slight fraction that haven't. Under 50%, so 46% have and 54% haven't, but one more vote will probably swing anyway. So around about just under half of you have. So that's less than I thought, actually, but you just don't know, do you? So yeah, it's not far off 50-50. I know some of you guys had, some of you know, but so you got all this to come anyway. But it's like a very, very slow, it's almost like climbing that last leg of Everest seems to take forever. It's like a slow little climb. You go a bit higher, you slip down a bit, you go a bit higher. But I can definitely feel myself progressing, getting more confident, getting more belief that I can do this. But it's very, very small steps. It is baby steps. You slowly get better and better. Another poll. Okay. There's probably only me and you here, I think, mate, from England. There's probably a few from the UK, but not many from Scotland, I don't think. There's only you that I know of. There's another guy in here a couple of weeks ago from Scotland. A mate of yours, I think, Keith. I think there's probably three I've come across. See, I didn't think anybody could be a trader in Scotland because you all live out in the middle of nowhere and you wouldn't think there'd be much in the way of internet. But I'm an adopted Scotsman. I should have been a Scotsman. I'm a mad... Oh, God, you know, I think about... I don't know, I can't tell you how many places I browse. I was browsing the internet last night for whiskey, single malt and stuff like that, watching some of the videos of some of the distilleries and all this. I should have been a Scotsman, me. You never know, I may have some heritage up there somewhere. I think my dad was he was killed in Belfast when I was young, when I was about 3, but he was from the north of England. I think he was from North Yorkshire area, so you never know, do you? There may be something up there somewhere. Right, what am I doing here? We got a leg and a break and a new low, but we got a bit of sideways. See, I don't like the fact of this channel is missing out that middle section. I think I've just connected 2 dots, which is Well, it's easy to do, isn't it? Computer on a single malt here. So you use single malts in your, what do they call them, your liquid coolers in your PCs. I was looking for a new one. In fact, I'm going up to, or down to Winchester with my wife and daughter on Friday, and my wife is starting to drink single malt. She hated it at first, but now it's starting to grow on her. But there's a lovely little pub. It's called the Old Vine, and it overlooks. It's absolutely stunning old building, and it overlooks Winchester Cathedral. And we sat there when we went down last year, and I was paying £15 for a double Lafroig. So two of us for one little drink, we were paying £30, which is like $45. So I'm taking a bottle down with me in a hip flask this time around, because I like to sit there and have 2 or 3 doubles, and I'm not spending £90 for the two of us on 3 drinks. So we're going to buy a single, and we've got a little hip flask. I'm going to take that down and just top us up. It's ridiculous prices. That is £15 for a double. So if we had 2 doubles each, it's £90 English. It's about $115 for 2 drinks each. So I was just looking about investing in whiskey, because I keep getting these pop-ups about investing in whiskey. You can invest in whiskey casks, can't you? And I suppose if you buy a cask, and obviously the older that cask is, the price goes up. I mean, if you look at single malts, you look at a 12-year to a 16-year-old, price doubles. Once you're talking 18 years, you'd be lucky to get an 18-year-old whiskey under $100, and then when you start 20 years, I mean, the price just absolutely soars. So you can imagine if you can get hold of or buy a whiskey cask that might be, I don't know, 15 to 12 years old, and keep it for 10 years. I mean, the older you keep it in the cask before it's bottled. So something I'm just looking into, just out of curiosity, really. So what are we doing here? Are we just having 2 legs and... I got no idea what's going on here. So there probably is a chat. I'm not a massive fan of that, and I think it's best. I notice sometimes if I'm fanning around trying to make this work into a channel, when I look at Matt later, he doesn't have it as a channel. So I think the simplest answer is, if it don't look like a channel, it isn't. So one, we've only touched it once. It pushes straight through it. We've hit it once up here, so I think it's probably safe to say it's not a channel, or not something that it's really going to create a problem, I don't think. So it is just a little bit sketchy at the moment, but it does seem like it's going a bit sideways. Trouble is, when it does go sideways, it could go up or down, really. It may come down here and bounce. It may just have 2 legs and push up to the top. It's not really telling us much at the moment. I was watching this guy who bought, he's a whiskey fanatic, he bought his son a 12-year-old Macallan single malt in a presentation box, which he paid £300 for per year over the last 12 years. His son's 12 now, and it's currently worth about 35 grand. So it's cost him about 4,000. So and if you get every year as well, like a run of them, it adds the value. So I was thinking about doing something like that. The trouble is, you got to store them, and whiskey has got to be stored standing up as well, unlike wine. The trouble is, when something's standing up, especially a bottle, it's liable to get knocked over. It's pretty easy with wine. You know, you can buy wine racks to a penny. You can shove them anywhere. Wine, they just lay down. But you know, if you got £500-600 bottle of whiskey stood up, it can get broken. Mind you, a lot of these ones, when you start spending 600, 800, 1,000, £1 for a bottle. They're in these big presentation boxes, which they're pretty secure anyway. So what's Bitcoin doing today? Where's Bitcoin? It's disappeared. Where have you gone? Oh, it has had a bit of a push, Bitcoin. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's up 5.5% today. It's just floating around 69,000. So we're going to have another push above that magical 74. My STC is doing well. It's up over 50% over the last week. I can do alright on there. I may finally get my money back. Sorry, Indy, I never heard that, mate. Next goal is getting parents consistency, just like a paycheck. Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? My goal for this year is to get to 10 accounts and get them to pay. I'm torn really between trying to grow accounts and take regular money out of, and excuse me a second, and being a bit concerned that something's going to go wrong with the Rhythmic. But what I'd like to do is just keep taking a payment out and then just try and grow what's left in that account and let that grow. But the target this year is to get to 10 accounts and get a payment from each of them, which would be $20,000 at least once, plus the two I've had, that will be $22,000, which is double what I got last year. Now that's the target. Obviously anything above that will help, and what I want to start doing is taking half of what I get paid out and putting it into my own brokerage account and starting to grow that slowly as well. What I'd like to do is get $5,000 in it and just trade one contract, nice and low risk, it's a couple of percent, something like that, and then just forget that, let it grow in the background. That's the plan. Is there a bigger channel down there? I don't think so. Possible. So I'm a bit on the fence here. Looking on this NQ, we've got these two legs up and a break. I'm wondering whether we are going to push up and try and retest this. See how this ends. It almost looks like a couple of attempts to go low, 1 and 2. Let's see if this closes above this line I've just put in there. I would say there is a chance that could push higher. So I don't want to be looking for a short here, because if we get a second entry short, it could stitch me up. Although I've put a channel there, we are moving away from it there. We did the same the other day. So I would suggest that depending on how we fall on that NQ, we've bounced once, twice. This could be a triple test. It's possible. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it could push up from there and make a new high from here. Okay, quite a nice bullish bar there. I mean, at the moment, we are sort of wicking our way down, but 1, 2, 3. After that channel, we've had a break. We've come down once, twice, and 3 times. So, I mean, everything's at the moment, we're under the EMA, but that looks like an encouraging place to buy if you're going to buy, if you're thinking the market's going to go up. So, while that is stuck above that bar there, I'm not getting involved in any type of short, because there could be a second entry short which may form here. But whether this channel's right, this bottom's losing momentum to me with this sort of angled line I've put. So seeing this and seeing this on the NQ is making me just sit tight and stay out of I mean, that's a strong bar off that line. And it's starting to push up. So leg and a leg. If there is a short form here, if there's a short that forms here, I won't be taking it, because one, this is losing momentum. If this is a channel, I think it is. We've got a touch, and a touch. This is losing momentum. So if it does drop a little bearish bar in here, that might be a bit of a trap, because that is interesting to me. I think there's a good chance that's going to push up, make a new high. So we got quite a distance we could go here. So we've pushed above this. We may get a little pullback, which may leave a little pullback on the NQ, which may leave a little bearish bar and a possible trap on the ES. So I'm just sitting tight here. It might not, but if it does form one, then I'll be just sitting tight. Still don't think there's a channel there. But maybe there was. Maybe there is. This is 2 legs down and eventually a new high. It would coincide with this. It's not the best looking channel. But it's all I got really. So a leg and a leg. Not quite a full leg, but we're struggling to get below there. So that was that little strategy I was talking about last week, and someone said it's an Al Brooks strategy. We got a channel up, we have a bearish bar which closes on its low or close to its low at the bottom of an uptrend. Buy it immediately. 1-to-1, that worked. I'm noticing it's working quite a lot. So any type of channel like this that we get a bearish bar, that's semi-bearish, we crossed over, pushed up strong. So that would have worked. So if you'd have risked it, you bought at the close of that. If it's close to that bottom, bought at the close of that. Put whatever risk you want, really, depending on the signal bar. But I went with 6 ticks and 6 ticks there. So you can go with whatever you want, really. But I think 6 ticks was probably, well, that clearly worked. So I'm just noting these. If I see them, I'm just going to put a makeshift little note, and every time they work, I'm just going to sort of put a little note there. So let's put that like that. Anybody, somebody mentioned Al Brooks does this. What does he call it? Does he call it anything particular? Did I get trade sync? Yes, I did, mate. Yeah. I got an email. Well, I got an email about 7 or 8 months ago, maybe a bit longer. And they're offering me this trade. I didn't even know what it was, and I went, I'm okay at the moment. And then I got another email saying, following our conversation 3 months ago. So, yeah, I'd offered it me for free. So I tried it for a bit. See, I only put anything on my screen here at the moment. Flowbots, Replicanto, Apex, and Trader Sync down the bottom. The only things I'll use that I use. Grab your nuts and how you doing, Kev? Yeah, I'll only advertise things that I use myself, but as a streamer, you'll know I get, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 emails a month. Half of them I don't even look at, to be honest with you, because most of them are offering me free use of a platform. Now, I've got my platform. I've been using it for 3 years, so it's just not worth it. So, but yeah, you do get that's the thing about streaming. If you're using bits of software, I got Replicanto for free, and that one tick trader for free as well. And I used to use it, and you get an affiliate with that. But in all honesty, I accidentally hit a buy button here or sell whatever accidentally, and it spooked me a little bit. I like the fact that it's up here out the way, so I took it off me. Now I could have left it there, and thank you, mate. I haven't seen anything in your boat lately. Have you been out in your boat lately, or is it too cold? I usually see when you put a post on. So no, you get affiliates and you make a little bit. You don't make a lot, but you make a bit from some of the bits of software. But I'm not putting software just for the sake of it on here. If I don't think it's no good, or I don't use it, I'm not putting it up here. It's like, I could put affiliate links for Lilu and Top Step and all this, but the only one that for me that I like the best, that I think is reliable, I don't want anybody to use anything and it goes wrong. The only one I know that's reliable enough, and I stand by, is Apex currently. But I could put affiliate links for the others, but I only stand by Apex. So and they don't pay me to say that. I wish they did, and if they did pay me to say that, I'd say it. But you'll be out later if I make some gas money. Yeah. They're some big old engines, aren't they? But in fact, I remember you saying they're not as expensive as you think. Fuel is over here. Does it take standard fuel? It's not. What is it? Diesel? Is it, or just normal fuel? Or is it jet fuel? I've seen how fast the thing goes. Non-ethanol gas. Non-ethanol. I got you. Okay. Non-ethanol. Okay. Yeah, it's expensive over here, fuel. I think what's a litre of diesel over here? I think it's about £1.50 at the moment. Mind you, around about lockdown, after lockdown, it went up to about £2.20 at some point. I know gas has always been cheaper over in the US, isn't it? That's why you have these big gas killers, because you couldn't afford them over here. You can't afford to run big engines over here like you do in the US. For some reason, you get your prices are reasonable and everything. I think just for the fact that you simply just won't pay for it otherwise. Whereas us over here, we just seem to get the piss taken out of us. We'll just pay anything. We'll be daft enough and pay anything. And just sort of bend over and take it. But I know in the US, if you just won't stand for it. And you seem to get such better deals. Mind you, I suppose a lot of stuff is US made. We will have guns, exactly. That's right. Yeah, I'll tell you what, in the UK, mate, you won't see a gun. You may see the odd shotgun once in a blue moon, or the odd air rifle. You can grow up a lifetime in this country and never see a pistol. Not even the police carry them. Well, regular police should have the armed response unit, but normal police that you see around the streets, none of them are armed. But no, in some states in the US, you can actually carry, can't you? You know, sort of non-concealed, I think. Yeah, unless you've done any type of military or military background here, you can go through your lifetime without seeing anything. I think there's more guns in the US than there are people, I think, aren't they? I wish we could to a degree, but I think, if I remember rightly, I'm just trying to think back when it was that we started banning lots of guns. There was some big shooting here. I forget where it was now, somewhere in the UK. And I think from then on they just got rid of them. I think you can have shotguns, you know, if you shoot clay pigeons or if you shoot birds of some sort of stuff. But I believe you can have some rifles if you shoot game like deer or something like that. But I mean, hunting in the US is it's an industry of its own, isn't it? It's got a massive following. Not so much in the UK. I think they do deer shooting, but I think it's a lot of birds, really. Pheasant and partridge and stuff like that. They have a season where people shoot that with shotguns, but you'll never see an automatic weapon in this country. Never. You'll never see a pistol in this country. If you've done a little bit of military, I did a little bit in the reserves years ago. But if I wouldn't have seen any there, I'd have gone throughout my life without seeing a pistol. Maybe when you go on holiday, you might see foreign police carrying, but you'll never handle one over here. But now we pay anything we do. You guys just won't put up with it. I wish we were more like you in a way. Started what? Oh, did you really? What did you think? I haven't watched it for a few weeks. I've been watching a bit of what is it? Are you season 6? Are you? It is good. It is good. Yeah. What do you think of Donna? She's nice. I like Donna. In fact, I like Donna more than I like the other one. What's his name? What's her name? Harry's wife. Donna. Yeah, she's nuts, isn't she? But I love her. Yeah, she's got that sort of. She's sort of plain, but she's got. Yeah, I didn't used to like Lewis. He used to annoy me, but he grows on you, and I think he's a brilliant character. He didn't used to annoy me. I'm thinking, why is he there? But he's actually he's very clever, isn't he? They know he's clever, but he's just that little bit what's it. But he used to annoy the hell out of me, but I love him now. Where am I up to? You're well ahead of me. I think I'm only up to about season 3.5 or 4, I think. I stopped for a bit to watch something. What was it? What was it? I've been watching something else. Oh, Sopranos. I've been watching some Sopranos, but I'm going to get back to it in the next couple of days. But it is great. It's a great program. It is. It's really well written. Third and fourth. What am I up to? What's just happened? Let me think. what's just happened. It's not far after Lewis has had the heart attack. I may be 3 episodes past Lewis having a heart attack, so I don't know whether you think that was. I think it's 3, isn't it? Series 3 when he has a heart attack. I can't remember. Right, this is interesting. We got a leg with a bit of a break. Now, would I normally take that? Need another one, really. But yeah, it's a great program. They have some great characters. In fact, Lewis was in the other thing, wasn't he? With Bobby Axelrod, Billions. Lewis was in that as well, wasn't he? I think it was. Quite a bit older. Yeah, there is some great characters in there. It's what I like about sort of TV nowadays is you can literally binge watch something. I mean, going back years ago, you'd have to wait another week just to watch one episode. It used to fry my brain. Billions, weird character. Yeah, he played a weird character in Billions, didn't he? I love Billions. Dollar Bill I used to like. And he was the Chinesey guy, the one that dances in the lift. What's his name? I loved him. He was brilliant. He dances in the lift, doesn't he? It's getting, what is it? It's getting hot, isn't it? That one he did. I forget what it's called. Righty tighty. What we doing here? So we've had a leg back and a leg back, and this does look like it might be pushing up on the NQ. Looks like we've got a second entry long possibly forming here. Can't take that really. It's an inside bar. Let's have a look. So there's a second entry long here, which is just, we've had 2 pushes there. One's bounced off, so I think that is probably my only slight concern is there may be a little bit of resistance there, so we could come back a bit more. I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence. It is a second entry long. In fact, let me shift that way. It's pushing up, I think. It's gone up enough, I think, for a scalp, hasn't it? Unfortunately, it's a bit, well, crap for want of a better word here. It's a bit sideways. There's nothing to trade really here, is there? You'd have to be taking a punt, really. God, it's slow again. Volume's low again. I don't know why. I mean, since we've been open, we've had this bit. That's it. And it's flowing. I mean, I get it when it's stuck in a range, going sideways in a tight range. No one wants to trade it, but at the moment we're pushing up. We've had 2 legs and up again. Down, we've had a break and down again. So we're having nice legs, leg and a leg. We had a break. Tested this 3 times. We had a leg and a leg with a break. Leg and a leg. So, you know, it's moving. It's moving quite smoothly, but there's still very little volume. I don't quite understand why. So I'm going to put that back because it unnerved me a little bit, that. A few touches there, a few touches there. And funnily enough, it's triggered that and starting to drop. I did say we could have another leg down to this area. So if we can retest this, then it may push up. But I don't like that. We struggle there and we struggle there. And now we've done it a 3rd time. Because I was thinking, with this break, maybe look for a higher low, but I'm going to have to hold back. There is a higher low forming there. Sorry, second entry long stroke higher low. There's the new high. There's the first entry. If we get a bullish bar breaks above there, it's a second entry long stroke higher low. You'd expect it to push up after that channel. But I just don't like we're struggling to get up here, which means we could have a little flush down below there, which if I got into a long here might not be. If that does drop on the NQ to below that bar, we may come down to the bottom of the channel here or lower, and that may stop that bar out. It's a bit congested anyway. So is that going to stop that bar out there, or is it going to hold? If that body was sat on top of there, I'd say it's got more chance of holding, but no, it hasn't. So seeing that there was a good enough reason. I mean, I don't trade this anyway, but I don't know whether you guys trade that or took that or got a scalp out of that. I don't quite understand the point system on here, how much you'd have made there, but I don't know what you guys. I know 2 points is, I suppose, the average on the ES. I don't know. So that's on one contract, isn't it? Would it have gone up high enough? Okay, so a leg back and a leg back. Now we've come down and touched that line, and now that's looking a bit better. Would I want to go long into there? I certainly wouldn't there, but that's come further back and touched that line, and now it's pushed up. Unfortunately, we got no entry here. So regardless of the break and the new high, we've had 2 legs back. And it is bounced off that line we came right. I mean, I didn't put that line there before that bar came down. It came down and met that bar. So I'd say that is probably the bar that may take us higher. Not only that, it's kind of a triple test once, twice through. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe a bit of wishful thinking there, but it looks like a strong bar. We've had that, which has got triggered and stopped out, but we've now come lower and touched on the bottom of that channel and pushed up and finished to tick off its high. So I still wouldn't take it because it's a couple of ticks or a few ticks from this support, this resistance over here. So I don't know whether this is going to stop it all and it's going to have a bit of a break. I mean, we could even now come down to here, I suppose, but the fact that that's pushed down would make me a bit nervous. Okay, there's a failure there, quite a big bearish bar. The trouble is, at the moment, hold on a second, let me just, got a leg up, we've had a break. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. This could push up or it could come back. We may be going a bit sideways, so the fact that that's bounced there might not necessarily mean it's going to continue up. Touch. We've had 3 touches on there. So if that bar or the next bar breaks below that bullish bar there, I'd say there's a chance we're going to come down to this area. But I'm not sure at the moment. Okay, I'll tell you what, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'll just leave that chart as it is. I'm just going to have a quick stretch my legs and make a quick cup of coffee, and I'll be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, I didn't really miss anything today. In fact, that was fun. We've only had 3 bars in the last. Crikey, it is slow. Okay, I've just got myself a coffee. I'm just going to have a quick 1-minute bathroom break and I'll be back. Okay. Right, what are we doing here? Possible. That is possible. Touch, such. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I'm sure about at the moment is we're going sideways. There may be something bigger, but for me, it's more two legs and then a bit sideways. Sometimes I get too focused in looking for trend channels all the time, and sometimes you miss. Sometimes you miss the bigger picture. At the moment, we've bounced off here, we've bounced off there, we've got close to there. So I think really at the moment we're just doing this as opposed to that. Excuse me a sec. Trouble is on this NQ, it is easy to be focusing on going long there where it could trap you. See that bullish, slightly bullish bar could trap you and then come ranking down like that, which it kind of looks like it was about to do there. So, I think the safest bet is just to put that there like that and say we've had a break. And we're going sideways. Thanks for streaming. I'm bored. Sorry, mate. I'm bored. Time to go play. Yeah, you too. You take it easy, mate. You stay safe in that boat of yours. Drive it like a maniac. Make sure you put a helmet on and a and a life jacket of some kind. I think there is a chance this could come down to here. It's just at the moment it's a little bit choppy. I mean, you could say there's probably a small little trend there, maybe. I just don't like all this stacking up here. It makes me nervous. And if I feel nervous, I'd rather not take a trade. See, all this on the NQ is just literally stacked. Now, I could say I think there's more of a chance it's going to come down and bounce off this bottom, but not enough to take a bet on it because it is just congested. So it could go up or it could come down. There is a possibility. I did try and mark that there, but now it's continued to go sideways. So, I mean, maybe it's doing something. I mean, the trouble is, until it decides to move up, it's very hard to know where to mark it. But, I initially had that there, and then we had a little bar there. But it's a rough guesstimate, really, which is not enough to get me into a trade. But this is stacked. Let me look. There's going to be shorts in that trade. There'll be some with that lower high thinking this is a top. There'll be some taking the failure. There may be a few bullish in there. Although I doubt you go along there this close to this support and when it's all stacked. So I doubt there's many people trapped apart from some shorts. But it does look like it's working in their favour anyway. Let me have a look. I can't see anybody. I mean, if you'd have got buyers there, maybe second entry long, they're already out of it now. So now, I doubt you'd buy that bar. You may buy that bar, but I doubt it because it's even more stacked up. So it's just doing this sideways stuff where it goes down, up, down, up, down, up, and that's what it does. So I often wonder sometimes while it's doing that, why don't you wait for the bearish bar to finish and then just buy and then just take a point, and when you have the bullish bar, just sell. But at some point, it's going to either go up or down. But I would suggest it's probably more likely to come down just simply because we're making lower highs. That's my only analogy. And we have touched this 3 times. So I think if there's buyers in here at the moment, they're probably more likely going to be down here just below this level here. But what do I know? Okay, let's have a look. So the shorts that are in here are possibly there. So if it breaks above there, well, I doubt many will shorted there. There for sure. I wouldn't have said here because it's so stacked. So really, they need to get above there because after the break and the new high with a lower high, that's where the majority trade is. If you're going to short that market, would have taken their shorts. And this will be interesting. Whether they'll stop them out or whether it'll trap that big long bar and come down. Okay, so any shorts in there have now gone, with the exception of maybe a few there. But if you'd have took that lower high, I mean, ordinarily, it doesn't look like a bad trade in a range. But the trouble is, when do you decide we're in a range? All we've really had is 2 legs back and a leg up. The fact that we've struggled here is probably quite possibly going to happen anyway because there's a little bit there. But I don't think it's enough to want to go short channel break, new high, lower high. I get why people have traded that one. But it is a little bit sideways. And we've just had a break of a channel. So there's the break with a push up. 2 legs down to a new low, retested it and up, sideways and up again. Because we've had this big bullish move and a break, I wouldn't be thinking about shorts until we'd at least had a go at making those new highs, which we have done. So if a second entry short had appeared here, I wouldn't have taken it because I think there's more of a chance that we could break these highs, and not only that, it's stacked anyway, so that'd be another reason not to get involved. It's easy sometimes to jump in and start drawing these trend channels, which is why I tend to just draw these lines at the moment. That just to identify, is there something else there that may struggle. So these are more bouncing areas than rather ranges. This is more the overall range. Until we've sort of hit it 3 times and I'm convinced it is more of a range, but at the moment it just looks like we've had a couple of legs down and maybe a couple of legs up. Okay, there's a higher low here. Now, I kind of like what's happened there. We've pushed up, we've come back and retested this a couple of times and with a reasonable sized bearish bar, and it's triggered. Now, this looks like it may be. Now, I'm not taking that because it's too far from the MA, but will that work? If this pushes above that bullish bar, that bearish bar on the NQ, then I'd say that probably work, but I'm not going along there. Not because I don't think it's going to push up. It's just way too far from the EMA for me. I mean, this thing could turn on the NQ, so I'm just sitting and praying. Praying I get another payment this month, or next month, or any month. Okay, so is that bearish bar on the NQ going to bring us back into this range? This is pulling the arse off me, this is. This is so slow. This is all the volume we've had from here. Where was it? Where did we go live there? That's it. That's all we've had. In 2 hours and 20 minutes, that's it. It's nothing really, is it? We've had nearly as much overnight. Unbelievable. I don't know why the volume is so low. Yeah, maybe, mate. Maybe. Maybe. How you doing, John? Maybe the Easter. Yeah, so you guys know. I mean, I know what Easter is to us over here. Right, okay. Kids are off school, so I'm assuming that's probably the same in the US. So, yeah, maybe. But you still think the institutional traders would be trading, wouldn't you? But it almost seems like they've gone on strike. Good on you, mate. Good on you. So I'm assuming schools are closed this week in the US. Would I be right in saying that? I know my daughter's off for 2 weeks this week and next week. You don't realise how good we had it at school. 6 weeks off in the summer, 2 weeks at Easter, a week at half term. Oh, we must get about 10 to 12. Well, we get 10, 12, 12, 14 weeks off holiday a year at school. I used to think the school day lasted forever. God, Bennett, you don't realise how easy you had it as a kid. Well, when it comes to the hours you do stuff. So, are we actually moving here? Let me have a look. Oh, hello. I don't think it's safe to do that. That'll affect your bias. God, this is slow today. It may be because of the holidays. I know in the UK kids are broken up from school for 2 weeks. I'm not sure anywhere else. I'm not sure about the US, but volume's definitely low. I mean, considering it's moving, I understand when volume is low when, you know, we're in a sort of tight range for a while, you know, we're doing something like that. You get it because people are staying out. But at the moment, I mean, it's pretty readable. We've had a leg down with a break, come back and retested it. 1, 2, 3. You know, and it's moving. It's doing what it should do. Leg and a leg. Leg, break, leg. Leg, break, leg. It's doing what it's supposed to. It's working kind of clean. But it's just so slow, and it's not, obviously, with the lack of volume, there's lack of entries. Apart from that triple test, I like that one because after that big strong move, we had a big strong push up, kind of like a bull flag. We had 1, 2, 3, nice triple test. There's going to be some short stuck in there. And that one were anywhere else. 1, 2, 3. Would I have taken it in? No, not again. Not this side. Anything there? Channel down, break, new low. I wouldn't have taken that one. Maybe a lower high. So we had a leg and a leg. Anything here? It's all right. I am starting to note a certain setup. I'm trying to add an extra setup to my what's the word? To my toolbox, shall we say? Let's just make this a bit easier to see. I've been noticing this for a while, and I mentioned it last week, and someone mentioned it's one of Al Brooks's setups. So we clearly got a channel going on there, and then we get a bearish bar which finishes on its low. I've noticed price just crosses over and goes up pretty quick. So buyers, people taking profit, and obviously, you know, but if you jumped in there, so I'm just trying to make a note of these every day, how many I can see. If I, you know, if I can see them over the space of a month, and I can see 40 of them, 35 of them win, one to one. So obviously you got to judge if you're well in there where you want your stop. I think 6 ticks is ample there. So just go for 1 to 1. So if you went to 1 to 1, it comfortably worked. You could have gone a bit more. I mean, maybe you could go for 1 to 2, but under the circumstances with this, I'd want to be out before the tops. I think 1 to 1's a good number, really. You get sort of, you know, I mean, obviously there's phase. Once you start getting above about 52% win rate, you're making money, but it seems to do that a lot. Whenever we get into, it's usually one of these type of size channels. Now there was a sort of a bearish bar there, not quite as bearish as I'd like, but it crossed over and pushed straight up. Let's see, this is a channel, we probably had one here and pushed up, but I prefer this type of channel, this sort of size. They seem to work really well. Same down here, we got a channel down here. Bullish bar, ends in on its low, crosses over, comes straight down. Same there, semi-bullish bar, but it's this type of, you know, this type of size channel. You know, something like that. We push up, we get a bearish bar, crosses over, continues up, bearish bar, crosses over, continues up, bearish bar, crosses over. So, you know, it's got a pretty neat, but it's, you know, same again there, channel, bearish bar, pushed up about, I don't know, not much. So if you'd have got in there, let's say you'd have sold there for 6 ticks, would be there. Yeah, same again, it would have worked. If I can see this working 75% of the time, I'll start be interested in looking at and adding them to my portfolio of setups. Same again, leg down there, big bullish bar, closing its high, crossed over, a little bit of a pullback, came straight down. The trouble is, I'm not seeing as many setups as there was. So it's either, you know, get 4 setups a week and sit here for 4 hours a day, or start to find, you know, some other types of setups just to add. But whenever you get this sort of size channel, something like that, say that the perfect example there, we had a nice channel there. We get a bearish bar, crossed over, pushed up strong. They do tend to push up strong. Another one there, bearish bar, crossed over, little wick, pushed up strong. Same there. A little bit of a wick, pushed down strong. Same again there, bearish bar. There was a second entry long there, so that I would have taken anyway. But they do seem to work really well, these. I'm going to have a mess around to see, check a few different time frames. But I think the thing when you develop as a trader, you're naturally going to find your own way of doing things. You can't help it if you notice these patterns. But I noticed these patterns and thought, yeah, it makes sense. And then I found out Al Brooks. So it just goes to show, I've never really seen anything from Al Brooks, or very little. So it just goes to show, if you sit here long enough, you'll start to notice certain patterns. So I'm just, marking them at the end of the day. Where would your stop be? Well, I think that's where you've got to work it out. I would say somewhere, but if you just note how far it came back on a particular trade. Some of them had a little bit of a stem, maybe sort of something like that size, which is 3/4 of a point. So I would probably suggest start with 6 ticks, but just mark them. Just if you notice them, just put a little line there and mark them, and at the end of the day, make a note down. Worked on what day and so on, and then that's how you sort of develop your own style of doing things. But you see that all the time. We push up, we get a bearish bar, crosses over, pushes up. Sometimes you'll get a little wick, and I think a little wick is good because it triggers the short, which makes it even better. You brought Al Brooks course 5 years ago, never had the patience to watch. You're not the first person that said that, mate. A lot of people said they just found it hard to get into. But if you sit here long enough, you'll notice patterns. I think that's half of it. Sitting and we're studying human behaviour. We're studying what human beings do in certain scenarios. And if you watch human beings in a room for long enough, you'll start to figure out how they do things. So that's it with the chart, really. It is like learning a language. You learn a language, and sooner or later you start picking up words. Sometimes you'll say the wrong words, which I consider getting trapped. And then after a while, you'll get better and better at it, and you'll just know what people are saying in it. And that's how Mac describes it. But you do notice things like this all the time. And it happens quite a lot. I would certainly see it happen 3, maybe 4 times in a day. But if you go for 1-to-1, I think it's a safe bet. I considered maybe you go for 1-to-2, but I think if you start from 1-to-1, but just make little notes, mental notes. Later today I'll jot down the date and the chart. So that way I'll save this later and I'll see, and I can just jot down how many I've seen, how many I took, and how many worked. And, once you've done it for a month or so, and then maybe just start off with a contract or something. But it is trial and error. But the trouble is, I'm, struggling to find one on average every day. And I had that little conversation with Daniel I mentioned. He said it was a few years ago, he was doing 3 a day. Now he's doing 5 a week. And, you only need to miss one day. That takes it down to 4 a week. So, if you sat here long enough, you'll notice these things and you'll start to work out where they were. And it's just a process of elimination. Just practice, make a note of it. And it's a study, really. I'm studying this type of trade. And at some point, when you study these things, excuse me, you'll start to implement them. It's like the medical business, isn't it? They study these illnesses, these different medications. They put them through the paces, and at some point, if they come out on top, like that trade, then I'll start implementing into my day. And that, something like that, 1-to-1, something as relatively simple as that, if it works enough times, it's a great way of adding extra trades to your portfolio. So, for instance, if this here, this is technically a failure. Now, if it traps that like it's triggered below and pushed up, if I buy here, by the time that bar's formed, you see that before that bar's even closed, I'm in and out of that trade. So if that bar closes bullish, it may continue up quite a bit more. So I like the fact that I actually buy at the close of that bar, or even maybe one tick below, or wherever you think might work. But the next bar formed, and look, that was when it went up to its high. I was already in and out of that trade by then. See, so it's starting to look me. This is the third one I've marked and the third one that's worked. So it's worth making these little notes, and it's how you get better as a trader. And it's a shame really to sit here for 4 hours and not take a trade, because I don't know why at the moment, but our strategy is just not producing much in the way of goods. Whether it's a period we're going for, I wouldn't even have a clue where to guess why it's doing that. God, it's so slow, isn't it? But it's fun to watch these and try and figure these things out. I get a bit of a kick at it. I think his trading style would work well with Apex. Yeah. I mean, he might be boring. Well, he is boring. I won't agree with that. But the guy's very good at what he does. He strikes me as one of those guys that is incredibly intelligent and very technical. Not that you need a massive amount of intelligence, below average intelligence, really. It's not a difficult thing, really, learn to read the charts. Like I say, Mac describes it as learning a language. Anyone can learn a language. You don't need, to be a genius of any types. But he does strike me as one of those intelligent guys. Sometimes they are a little bit a bit square or a bit boring, whatever you say. But as far as I'm concerned, if someone's good at something, they're on my radar. But I've watched a couple of his videos, maybe 2 or 3 over the last few years, but not much. But it just goes to show you, I noticed that just by looking at the chart, so he's noticed it as well. Yeah, I believe he went to medical school, didn't he? I was watching a bit more of Trading in the Zone guy. I was watching a bit more of him last night. I tend to get in bed and I get my tablet out and I stick my earbuds on and I do a little bit of studying in the evening, just watch a few people. It's a shame, really, as he passed away, didn't he? Had a heart attack, I don't know, a few years ago now. Mark Douglas, which is a shame. But it is nice hearing these people talk, and their thoughts and opinions. It is just like topping your memory bank up with all these little bits of information. Ticks of the trade. Anyone think Apex? I mean, there's Easter, isn't there? So it's hard to say, but they only had a 90% one a few weeks ago, so I would guess it would be more like the 71%. He did say that they weren't going to do as many of the 90% off, so I doubt they'll go from 90 to 80 back to 90. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm betting it's likely going to be the 71%. I was just wondering when the next holiday is. Memorial Day, end of May, which is 2 months away, so it's hard to say. I don't know. Yeah, I know they've said they're not going to do as many as the 90% off. I don't know why. People spend a lot more money, I think. But I'm guessing, I hope they do. But I'm guessing it'll probably be the 71 unless they come up with some other weird and wonderful way of giving a discount. But, this is starting to bore me now. How long I've been going? Just over 2.5 hours. I'm going to give another 15 minutes, I think. I mean, this is sticky red in the oven stuff, isn't it? Okay, so we got a leg down with a break. Possible second entry short from the leg. Trouble is, you'd be going short right in the middle of there, and that makes me nervous. So whether this is a channel on the NQ in a break, I've got no idea. I'm not sure whether I want to take that. We came down from the tops, crossed over and pushed up. We're not at the bottoms, so I got no idea where this is going, but I'm going to have to see how this one finishes. We haven't quite hit the lows yet. I'm going to get an order ready.
Order submitted.
At the moment, it's only 3 ticks, so if it only ends up 4 or 5 ticks in a bearish bar, I might just have a go at that. I don't think it's going to finish right anyway, is it? Where's my countdown gone? Where's my countdown gone? Damn. Where's my countdown thingy gone? I don't even know when the bar's going to end now.
Order cancelled.
Where's my countdown thingy? I don't know where my tick counter's gone. Let's just join. Hate to see the something missing PA. Get paid. Yes, I did, bud. Yeah. Yeah, I did. And it was low, so I took a trade on Friday, and I knew it was low. I got no issues with that at all. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. Yeah, I got payment. It's actually already, it's on the way from my plain account into my account. So yeah, I knew it was low anyway, so I kind of don't mind that too much. Trying to think, where's the, how to get this tick thing back. It's disappeared for some goddamn reason. That's great. So absolutely, it served its purpose. I took a trade, a slightly risky trade. I knew it was slightly riskier trade, but if it worked, it would have been all right. But you know, I'm fine with that. Show ATR. I've already got the ATR. Right click, reload Ninja script. Reload Ninja script. No. It's that number from here, isn't it? It's in Pat's. What's it, isn't it? Let's have a look. It's here somewhere. I think it's in that one, isn't it? Display lower right, show ticks. No. If Mapex delays payment if accounts are blown after payout is approved. No, that's rubbish, mate. No, if it's approved and it blows, it's not a problem. Having said that, I always wait for it to come out my account, which it did. My account showed 630 or something. My payment's already been made, mate. It's on the way from my plane account. It's been paid into my plane account. Now, if it says approved and you blow it, it's not an issue. So don't worry about that. I always still wait for it to drop from my balance, which it had to. So yeah, don't worry about that. So okay, so tick counter. Why isn't it visible? This is it here, I think. The tick counter display offset. It's usually over here. Is it in 2? Is it? Yeah, this is 2. I've got it here. I just can't seem to see it. Let's have a look. So, display in box area. That's not it, is it? Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll look in this one. And it'll show me what's highlighted. I'll take a screenshot of that. Delete it. You think so? Let me just have a look. Let me just take a quick photo of this and check it's the same on my other one. Okay. 'I don't know why some things disappear sometime. Okay, let's have a wee look. Okay. 555, nothing, 21, tick, nothing, 43 on each side. To scale. Display in data box, that's not on here. Don't know what that means. Visible. There we go. Super duper. Got it. I knew I'd figure out in the end. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit further over, but that's not a problem. Super. Process of elimination. This is boring the arse off me, this is. The thing is, I got 280 hours. I got 280 hours. Which one do I pick? Okay, dokie, I'll tell you what. Let's get rid of that one. Doesn't really matter. Let's have a look. Oh, God. What's going on in my life today? So that's it, isn't it? That should say visible. Right, okay, I'll tell you what, let's just remove that. Apply, that'll solve the problem. There we go. So it might be one of those days today. I'm so looking forward to the weekend, getting away. Okay, got a question for you guys. This new sort of strategy that I'm looking at, what can I call it? Give me some ideas. So we got a little channel where we get a bearish bar, closes on or one tick off its low. I buy and it pushes up. It's just something I'm looking at the moment, but I want to start in my notes. What can I call that? As filthy and as ridiculous as possible. Don't hold back. What can I call it? I need something to call it. Don't all speak at once. Okay, there's one there. Let's see if this one works. So if you buy, say the close, let's buy that there, and we'll give that 6 ticks. See if that works. What can I use? Okay, so that one worked. That one's bouncing off it. stop it, stop it. In fact, it looks a bit... let's copy. Well, there's no guarantees it didn't push through that. Depends where you got in. If that finishes on its high, I could get out of that for break even technically, but I still think it's okay. I'd rather just take it 1-to-1 and just leave it. It may have even ticked through. There's sometimes it'll hit it, other times it's got to push through. It depends. If it holds up against it for long enough, sometimes it'll push it through. Okay, so that didn't work. Well, it's hard to say whether that one worked or not, but usually it's got to push through. It's hard to say. So I tell you what, let's put that one as a loss. Let's make it as even as we can. So so let's say 1-1. I mean, when it did this and came back like that, I may have got out of that one if I was in there. But just for let's just get this study sort of accurate. Yeah, in all fairness, that would have been there. That hasn't actually made a difference. See, once that closed, it looks like it came down. So you may have got in here, but I think it's irrelevant anyway. Let me just check that was in the channel. Yeah, it was still in the channel. I think that's okay. That would have been okay to mark. Okay, I've done 3 hours. It's boring the arse off me now. It's just chop, chop, chop. Volume is very low, whether that's to do with the Easter weekend looming. I know in the UK kids are off school at the moment, so I'm not sure about anywhere else. And with the volume's low and it's going sideways, it's not really giving us much, is it, to be honest with you? If you wonder what those marks are, I'm just trying this new, not a new strategy, but just to add an extra setup. I've noticed whenever we do this, we have a bearish bar and an uptrend and a small uptrend and vice versa. Usually it crosses over and pushes up. That one worked. That one, I'm a bit on the fence. You don't know whether it would push through there or not. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't need to, sometimes it does. And when that came back anyway, I'd have quite lightly got out of that. But I don't want it to all be one-sided. I'd rather be fair about it. I could scratch it, but I'd rather just say, for now, let's pretend it didn't win. I'm just doing this over the next month or so, month or two or whatever, and just to see if this works. Then if it does, then I might start implementing it as part of my day. It's always best to add extra setups if you can. The trouble is, at the moment, the way things are at the moment, there's not a lot of pat setups around, so I think it's pretty normal to notice and to add little bits to your portfolio, little setups to your portfolio over time. But there you go. So that's it for today, folks. Another Monday gone. Short week this week. So we've got Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. We've got the Easter weekend, and then I'll be back on Tuesday. So there you go. 80% off finishes on Wednesday. 80% off on one day. The pass finishes on Wednesday. And then I'm guessing we're going to have something new. So that's available. My code's down the bottom. If you've used it, or at the top actually, if you've used it or you have used it, it is appreciated. So I hope you've had some green today, but if you're carrying on trading, I hope we get out of this and I hope you get a setup. It is just a bit boring, isn't it? It's starting to put me to sleep. So if you do carry on, best of luck. I hope you get a setup, but failing that, I'll be back tomorrow. So have a good day, have a great evening, stay safe, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Bye for now.